Hi people, it's Firebrand15. I'll be doing a deck list of my Cyber Dragon deck, as you can see. I'll just tell you what I've got in it and show you it. And I'll tell you some things that I'd use like combos for it. Right, sorry about the picture. I've tried doing this about 5 times, this deck list. But at the moment it's night time now and it's pretty dark, so I've put my light on and it's pretty bright, but, you know, what can I do? Anyway, let's get on. First in my deck is 3 Cyber Dragons. Really good card to have. Really, if you're having a Cyber Dragon deck, you can't really not have this. But also, it's a good card to put in any deck, really, because of its effect. And its effect is, if I use just this card, let's put that card to show. So I've managed to get the second turn. My opponent has one monster, as you can see on the field. I've drawn my Cyber Dragon. Its effect states that I can, if my opponent has one monster on their side of the field and there is no monster on my field, I can special summon this without tributing. So I can go whack effect, I win. There, pretty easy reason, pretty good reason why to have it. Plus, if you have like a machine deck or really any deck, I'd think trying to put them in because they're really good. Right, next card I have in my deck are 3 Proto Cyber Dragons. Really important card to have in a Cyber Dragon deck, as basically its effect is, once this is on the field, it's treated as a Cyber Dragon, meaning I can use these to special summon my Cyber End Dragon, Cyber Twin. So 3 of those in deck. Next I have 3 Cyber Dragons away. Basically, if I show my opponent one spell card in my hand, these can be treated as a Cyber Dragon until the end of my turn. And when they're in the graveyard, they're treated as Cyber Dragons. So that's useful for, I think it's Chimetex, I'm not sure, but anyway. Next card, newest one to my deck, is the Malefic Cyber End Dragon. Basically, it's got a drawbacks, it's good. It hasn't got the piercing effect of what the Cyber End Dragon has, so it can't pierce through defense position monsters, but it can be summoned out very easily. But it's also got a drawback. If there isn't a field spell on the field, it's destroyed instantly. Or if this has already been summoned out and the field spell gets destroyed by, I think it's a giant Trunade, this card gets destroyed as well. But to be honest, the only requirement for summoning it is removing from play one Cyber End Dragon. So it's a really powerful card to get out. It has the same stats as a Cyber End, just without the minus the effect and that drawback, which is much like, I believe it to be, Earthbound Immortals. Right, next card I have 2 Cyber Phoenix. Basically, its effect is once it's face up in attack position on the field, it negates spell and trap cards that designate targets as one of my Cyber Dragon, one of my machine type monsters, which is basically my entire deck. And then once it's sent to the graveyard as a result of battle, I am allowed to draw one card, so that's why I have 2. It's pretty good. Next is a stalling card. I'll go through the effects of this as well. Basically, 2 Cyber Valves in my deck. Basically, its first effect is I can remove. Wait, I'll just pop that there. Sorry, so I can read effects properly. Right, its first effect is when this is selected as an attack target by an opponent monster, I can remove this from play and end the battle phase, negate attack basically. Second effect that I can choose for it to be is I can remove this card from play and one face-up monster I control and draw 2 cards, Pot of Greed. And the last effect is you can remove this card from play and 1 card from your hand and place 1 card from your graveyard to the top of your deck. So I have 2 of those. Basically, I have 2 of those because it can either be a negate attack, a Pot of Greed, or a monster reincarnation. Next, I play 2 heavy mech support platforms. Very good card. Say if you have, just move my deck to one side, sorry. Say if I have my Cyber Dragon. Say I've got my Cyber Dragon on my field, like that, and I've got this. I can summon this and activate its effect and attach it to my Cyber Dragon, which makes my Cyber Dragon gain 500 more attack points. And when this is attacked by a monster, my opponent controls, so say this, that card starts attacking this. Instead of the Cyber Dragon taking the hit, this card takes it for it. So that's why it's a good card. That's why I believe that should be in my deck as well. Next is 3 Shining Angels. People have a misconception of using this and comboing it with Inferno Reckless Summon. I've actually asked people, a lot of people, and even a judge, and they say you can't actually use this with Inferno Reckless Summon to summon out Proto Cyber Dragons. You can't use Inferno Reckless Summon for any card that has the same sort of effect, where it's once it's destroyed by battle. It can only be special summons such as I usually use it when I've used it to Monster Reborn. I can activate it then and summon them all out, so that's why I use that. But anyway, and the Shiny Angels effect is basically once this is destroyed by battle, I can search my deck for one light type monster that's 1,500 attack points or less. So that's like a Cyber Zwei or Proto Dragon, which is useful. Next is 2 The Light Hex Sealed Fusion, basically a substitute monster. If I have Cyber Dragon on my field like that, and I draw one of these, I can go and summon this, and activate its effect, and say and pretend this, and it now substitutes for one fusion type monster. So I can, as long as the other fusion monster, material monster, is the right type. So as long as the other card is a Cyber Dragon, I can use this to summon Cyber Twin. So that's why I have 2 of those, because it's pretty easy to get out Cyber Twins with that. Next, I only play 1, Power Bond. You'll know what that is. It basically just fuses it. It's basically a polymerization and a limit removal. But at the end of the turn, I take damage equal to the original attack of the monster. So if I use it to summon out my Cyber End, I end up taking 4,000 damage at the end of my turn. Next, I play 2 limit removal. Basically, I play 2 limit removal because it affects all the field, and it's pretty good for a 1-turn killing. So I play that. Next, I play. One sec, sorry, my deck's all sliding about. Next, I play 2 Evolution Bursts. Basically, play this card because its effect is if I have a Cyber Dragon face up on the field, so if I have a Cyber Proto Dragon on the field, I can activate this, and it just destroys a monster on the opponent's side of the field. But that Cyber Dragon cannot attack during that turn. So it's good, but it's got a downfall as well. But I use it. It's mainly good. Next, Future Fusion. Basically just fuse stuff before you even have it. Useful. Next, Overload Fusion. I only run 1. I'm looking into 2, but at the moment I only run 1. Basically, good for bringing out your Chimetex. Next I play, which I haven't seen many people, which I don't think to be honest, I haven't seen anyone put in a Cyber Dragon deck so far. Sorry if I'm wrong, but, I haven't seen one. A card called Branch. Basically, its effect is, when a fusion monster on your side of the field is sent to the graveyard, I can special summon from the graveyard 1 fusion material monster that I use to summon that fusion monster. So if my Cyber Twin goes to the graveyard when I've got this card active, that my Cyber Twin, if I use a Cyber Dragon to bring it out, I can then use that card. That card then activates, and I can bring out a Cyber Dragon. So that's why, because it brings out the monster that you used. Next card I play, is Dimension Fusion. I prefer this from Return from a Different Dimension, because it keeps the monsters out after. Basically, I pay 2,000 life points, and both players, that means me and the opponent, summons as many monsters removed from play as possible. But the thing is, I don't use cards that remove monsters from play. I'm hoping my opponent does. The only card that I have is the Trap Hole, and I'm hoping my opponent does the same and removes monsters from play. Or if I summon my Chimetek over, then I can do that. Basically, 2 polymerizations. Don't even need to say why they're in. Next, Fusion Recovery. Don't see many people use this, but really good card. Basically, I had 1 polymerization and 1 fusion material monster that was used for a fusion summon from the graveyard to my hand. So if I've already summoned Cyber End before and used polymerization to use it, I can then activate this later on and bring back 1 Cyber Proto Dragon and 1 polymerization back. So that's good. The next card will be changed soon to a Fusion Gate, but Mausoleum of the Emperor. This will soon be changed to a Fusion Gate, because that'll be a much better card. Anyway, Inferno Reckless Summon. Basically, this card's amazing. I really only use this when I've used Monster Reborn and a Proto Cyber Dragon. Basically, the effect is, once this card is special summoned with 1,500 attack or less, I can then activate this and special summon as many of the monster with the same name from my graveyard and my deck. So basically, if I've just Monster Reborn Proto Cyber Dragon, I can then summon the other two from my deck. Next, Monster Reborn. Don't need to say why that's in. One Mystical Space Typhoon, one Dark Hurl, one Pot of Lava Ice. This is what I class as a staple for my deck. It's in nearly everyone. Basically, I don't see why people don't use this more. Its effect is select 5 monsters from your graveyard and add them to your deck. After that, draw 2 cards from my deck. So I don't see why people don't use that more often, but I use it in nearly every deck. Next, Giant Trunade. Then, Book of Moon. Swords of Revealing Light. Now on to traps. First trap is called the Haunted. I then play one Torrential Tribute, one Compulsory Evacuation Device to get rid of those pesky synchros. I only play one Bottomless Trap Hole because I've tried to keep my deck a 50 card deck. Also, it's for the next card because I prefer this next card over another Bottomless. Windstorm of the Equator. Basically, when I activate this, I change all the battle positions of all face-up monsters on my opponent's side of the field. So this is really good for taking out high-level monsters with maybe high attack but low defense. It switches and then I can do it. I don't play Mirror Force in this deck. I use a negate attack instead because it ends the battle phase. Does it? Yeah, it ends the battle phase, so I find that better, just as good. And then I play, instead of Mirror Force as well, I play Draining Shield. I find this useful, because I do have some cards that take life points away for using them. So I thought, why not use this to bring back all those life points? Next, Sarasuk Armor, or however you say it. Right, onto my fusions. Let's get on. I'm starting to move on for time here. Sorry, it's taking quite a while, but I'm just trying to explain effects. Next, I run 3 Cyber Twins. I run 3 because these are easy to bring out, and you might as well. There's no point in just having 2 or just 1. 3. Basically, effect of this card is it can attack twice in the same battle phase, so really useful. Next card, 2 Cyber Ends. It's got a piercing effect, so it makes the difference between defense position monsters and this attacking, takes them out as life points. It's on loads of cards, you'll know. Basically, I have 2 of these. I'm probably gonna put a third in because it's useful for summoning out the Malefic Cyber End. That's why, but that's okay. And finally, last card, Chimetek Overdragon. Really good card. Basically, its effect is I remove loads of cards from play, and it can attack as many times as however cards I remove from play, and that's what attack becomes. So that's good. I don't have any Chimetek Fortresses at the moment, but I'm probably only going to get 1 if I do get them. But, you know, it's not that big of a problem. Anyway, and thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and, you know, anything you want to. And basically just, you know, comment, rate, subscribe. Also, my next deck that I'll be building will be a Red Eyes deck. You know, as you can see, I've got some cards like Red Eyes, Chicks, Ravens. Anyway, that'll be my last deck. That'll be my next deck that I start building, which should be, I'll probably have it done by maybe a month or so, because I haven't got much money at the moment. Anyway, subscribe please for new videos, because I will make them. And thanks for watching, and comment on how I can make my videos better. That's always one thing that I always want. Comment on how I can make my videos better, and comment on how I can make my deck better. So thanks. Channel's Firebrand15, and thank you for watching.